Hello and welcome. My name is Mark Blatstein, the physician founder of Physician Presentence Report Service. Today, I'm going to review character reference letter and the basics and why they're so important. When you first got indicted, you sounded like Jimmy Hoffa or the worst of the worst in your indictment. And so, if you've been able to follow some of my advice and the recommendation of federal judges, you've been able to put together a personal story about yourself. And this expands on that. And these character reference letters are letters that attest to your character. And so this is just going to be the basics or a primer, if you will, as to what goes into these letters, and they're different types. And so let's get started. And very briefly, and I have more in-depth YouTubes out there, is you're going to start your letters out, dear Judge, Your Honor. If it's a personal letter, then it just has your name at the bottom. If it and how maybe how you're related to the individual. But if it's a business letter from a business, then it can have all your information, name, address, phone number, etc. And so you want to identify yourself. You want to explain who you are, how you know the defendant. My name is Jim Smith, and explain, who you are, what you do. And then after you've done that, explain, how long and under what circumstances have you known the defendant? I mean, how have you, what was the, how did all of you eventually meet? Are they a relative of yours, a romantic partner, maybe a past spouse, current spouse, a friend, a former employee, maybe a coworker? Specifically, you wanted to go, as I said, how have you met them, and how well do you know them? And this letter is going to carry more weight with the judge if you explain to them how you've been able to form this impression of the person, because and you do this by explaining how long you've worked with them, what's helped you define, your knowledge base. Have you known them from childhood? Where did you go all through elementary school and middle school? Did you go through college with them? Have you worked with them? Have you worked with them for 30 years in your practice or business? This is all about facts about the defendant. So you want to give your frank opinion about their character. You may want to discuss their childhood, if they had obstacles and what they did and what they faced. What was their work history? What was their kind of role or interaction with their family or their childhood? Were there obstacles that they had to face? What was their role in the family? Was there a relationship with their parents? Was it rocky in the household? Was it rocky if they're adults, with their spouse and their children? Did they have health issues? Were there drug issues? This is all important. If it was a drug crime, and growing up, did this person have to, go to high school or go to elementary school and then leave early just to deal drugs to make money so their family could eat? Is there going to be a support structure in place? People who love him upon release. Does he, that will care for him and provide for him and help him keep on the straight narrow, and help him begin to make plans for his future? Does he or she have plans for their future? They may want, you may want to go into, has that person regretted what he's done? The term is expressed remorse, but what in your heart do you believe the person writing this? Do they believe they're going to reoffend? Can you most effectively express yourself in a letter, but you want to state your opinion, and then why do you hold that opinion? For me personally, I've had interactions with other people that are in business. Some of them have had felonies, some not. And at one point there was a conversation with another company where they wanted to pay me a percentage based on referrals, and I told them that there's just no way. It may be okay in business. I'm not going anywhere near it. It's just, I apologize and just said it may be okay. It's just not okay with me. That's just my take. Anecdotes. What can we're trying to humanize the person to the court. So the judge can, gain a lot of insight from a backstory, who this person was. Did they, did he or she as a child do get people's groceries, mow people's lawns, shovel driveways of snow, volunteer in church, maybe as an adult volunteer to coach, different sorts of sports games in high school. If there's a job offering, for example, one of the initial examples was, if a letter is from a former employer, are they willing to hire him again once he's released? And if he is, this is a great letter. And all of these letters, we find the best. They become part of the personal narrative, and they have to be included into the pre-sentence interview. Because if the job offer rather says that they trust them and they trust their skills, and no one has a crystal ball into the future, But should a job be available, they'll pay every 2 weeks, high minimum wage. They'll be available at this address, at this location. They're more than welcome for the court or the officers to stop by. They can speak with him or your management team. They want to help this person get back on their feet. And that this is why these letters are critical to be included into the pre-sentence interview. And the only way to do that is to begin right away before the interview, so that a week or so before the interview, all of this content plus more is provided to your probation officer. I hope you found this helpful. I thank you for taking some time to listen. I hope you all have a safe day.